Chapter 7 Wild Plants. Meet the fennel plant, a feathery shrub with leaves like delicate lacework, like outstretched fingers. An explosion of yellow flowers at the end of each delicate stalk, lemon yellow umbrellas reaching out to the sun. Flowers that turn into bouquets of seeds that many know only as a cooking herb. And all this out of the rough, broken edges and stony soil of our countryside lanes. And that's just the beginning. The fennel plant is loved by many of our animal friends, like this flower beetle, or this barberry beetle, this paper wasp, and this stem borer. Fennel is so popular with our pollinators that you can find whole food chains on just one plant. Take, for instance, the beautiful swallowtail butterfly. It lays its eggs on fennel in a quick, fluttery few seconds, each time laying just a single egg. The eggs look like this, and like this. After a few days, the caterpillar hatches and eats its egg case, continuing to grow and grow till after 4 days it looks like this. It continues to eat fennel leaves and after 6 days looks like this. By 13 days it looks like this, each time having shed its skin and changing into a new color pattern. Eventually, the caterpillar pupates and emerges to start the life cycle after 1 or many months. Okay, let's have some fennelly fun. How many similes can you make out of fennel leaves? You'll be asking yourself, what does it look like? Or what does it remind me of? How about fennel leaves spreading like fingers, reaching towards the sun? Or the lattice-like leaves of the fennel plant? Or fennel leaves like veins on the back of my hand? Here's another question. How many florets are there in each flower head? A floret is a small flower. I don't actually know the answer to that one. You'll have to count them yourself. Third question. Do all the florets open at the same time? Why? Or why not? The answer to that one is they don't. And that's because the plant needs to make sure it gets pollinated, and pollinators aren't always around equally every day. So, by opening its flowers little by little over a long period, it makes sure to catch as many good pollinator days as possible. Wild plants like the fennel are so underrated. As our lives move increasingly indoors, something has been happening to our perception of nature. To our modern eye, nature looks shabby, disorganized, dirty even. Our obsession with sterile environments has escalated since COVID-19, and we have pushed nature into a place even further away from our hearts. So, what can we teachers do about it? To start with, we have to want to rewild our hearts and minds, to believe that nature makes us healthier, to understand that without wild plants, we will have no pollinators, no life cycles, no food chains, and healthy environmental systems supporting us. And much of all this revolves around the wild plants that grow in humble places like roadside verges that provide much needed food to our starved pollinators. Once you are convinced, start growing wildflower patches or planters at your school. Fennel is a very good place to start because the seeds are ripe for picking at the end of summer, just when the scholastic year starts. So you can do an A to Z project with your class, starting from seed sowing. Fennel isn't fussy, so any deep planter in the sun will do. Seeds will grow out within a couple of weeks, and you can trace the plant growth while doing language skills, math skills, art and creativity, and above all, nature literacy. Just have a look at all the wonderful life cycles you could get on your fennel, apart from the swallowtail butterfly we've just seen. In this food web, aphids are our first in the animal line, the herbivores that suck plant juice from the tender stems. These fascinating creatures remove excess plant sweetness from two little tubes called cornicles at their back end. See the drops of honeydew on these aphids? Ants harvest this energy-giving honeydew. Now, along come the ladybirds, carnivores whose young eat the aphids. They lay eggs that hatch and grow into young that don't look at all like the red adults. You can finish off the life cycle and food chain all on the same fennel plant by looking out for the final change of the young into the adult colors. You will get many other food chains on the fennel plant, such as this small ladybird, whose strange-looking young hide among aphids and eat them. Can you see the dried-up skins of dead aphids? And then there's the voracious lacewing, a beautiful animal with delicate wings that lays its eggs where there are aphids. This one happened on the very same fennel plant I found the two ladybird young, and it was an amazing find. There are no other eggs I know of with such delicate attachments. And the young look nothing like the adult. They will decimate an aphid population within a week. Fennel is not only a very easy wild plant to grow, but it also has a long life cycle and is wonderful for discovering life throughout the scholastic year. Prepare to find eggs you've no idea existed. Follow the changes in the eggs. Wonder at how they darken before hatching. Wait for the life that emerges. Look them up. Notice wasps looking for caterpillars, which it will cut in smaller parts before carrying them to its nest, like this individual is doing. Humans, too, have a long relationship with wild plants. The fennel is no exception. So enrich your nature-based learning by looking up how fennel was used by the ancient Greeks and Romans, the Chinese and the English. You can of course do a wild plant project with any wild plant of your fancy. And you should of course mix wildflower seeds. Who knows what animals will take a shine to your wild patch? Look up the Dinyawata Action Guide for tips. Throughout this course, we have kept the same progression of 3 steps. Did you pick out the 3 steps in this last chapter? The first part introduced the fennel plant with its strange and beautiful leaves, flowers and seeds, and focused on the beautiful swallowtail butterfly that makes its bed and breakfast on the fennel plant. Here we spent time looking closely and enjoying the plant. The second part introduced lower order questions, counting and direct observation, and higher order questions that got you thinking why flowers don't open at the same time, or making similes and using language skills creatively. Then we looked at a problem associated with our nature topic, our obsession with uniformity, neatness, cleanliness that takes us into a frenzy of wild plant cutting till we've destroyed food chains. And we looked at how to take action through just one simple idea that can take you through a year's worth of curriculum links. The Dinya Wahda Action Guide will help you create wild plant projects. The two most notable examples of these can be found in Year 3's Pollinator Places and in Year 4's Flower Detectives. Do look up our resources. We've made them to help you get your children to love nature and understand it.